Everybody, and welcome to Hex Token Channel. Your host, Superman, in the house. Is that how we say it? In the house. Hopefully, I can speak the English, being from New Zealand. So hopefully, you guys are enjoying yourself. Let's get into it. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're obviously gonna do a lot of our standard routine, which is stock market, crypto market, Hex ecosystem. We're gonna jump into the Hex HSI auctions. I think we're just finished day 3, so we're on to day 4. We're going to turn on to day 4 in probably about half an hour, so it's getting pretty close. We are at the turn of the auction day. And, of course, we're going to look at some of the highest stakes coming up as well. Some project influences in the Bitcoin space, giving street cred to Richard Hart. Things are turning a little bit there on that space. The final frontier, is it? The final frontier of capitulation. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about pulse gains. Wen Pulsechain, sir. Wen Pulsechain, sir. We get that a lot, of course. I'm sure most Pulsechain Hex influencers get that. I'm sure a lot of people in the community get that too. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about Powerball and BNB pot, our speculative innovative play and massive rally, second day rally on BNB pot. So that's pretty exciting. We're going to talk about that too later. Hex daily stats coming up, and I'm sure we've got a few other things in the house. So stay tuned for all of that. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into the chat, see who's in the house. We've got a couple of people. So we've got Lies Beneath with the ultimate strategy. How are you today? Very good. Hello all. Hex, EHEX, and PLS for the win. That's absolutely right. Well, can't wait. What else? We got Dave Downer. Nice thumbnail with Miss Superman scratching her head saying, "When V3 testnet." Yes, Dave Downer. It's a very nice thumbnail. And I'm sure she's around the world somewhere. This is the way it goes. Wookie's in the house there. Woohoo! FTX to the moon. Says Wookie, nice one. I like that. I haven't even checked out on the FTX price. We might have to check that. Wasn't planning on that. But that fallout still playing out. The association with the Democrat Party and a lot of other things. So it's still playing out there. Let's see how much coverage it gets because you buy insurance with those people. KD's in the house there. Hey, all good to see you. Sandy Beach as well. Good to see Sandy Beach. We've got a couple of our moderators and community members in there. G'day, Hexkin unaffected. Yeah, Hexkin's unaffected by all the drama with the CFI and centralized exchanges. Unless, of course, you play a lot on there. So just the way it goes. We've got J-Man in the house. Woohoo! Hex Glenn as well. Good to see Hex Glenn as well. Who else is there? HH is in the house. J-Man is just having a lot of fun there. Lies Beneath the Truth. Yeah, Lies Beneath brings it every single day. Bring us the ultimate strategy. Kate Fugger. It's Kate Fugger in the house. I don't see Kate Fugger in the house, but he pops in every so often these days. I think he's a bit busier than he used to be. Hex Glenn in the house. Hi. Kato Natural. Hey, Superman. Good to see you, Kato. As always. Who else there? KD says, hey, Superman. Nice to see KD. Hexy Cat as well. Hey, Hex Cat. Woohoo. Yo. What else do we got? Chance Nicely as well. Great to see you, Superman. Hey, Chance Nicely. Appreciate it. It's always great to see you guys in the chat as well. We get used to each other online, our online profiles. Sometimes people get to meet up. Brizology, of course, was at the very first meetup, weren't you, Briz? In good old California, I think it was. So you can double confirm that. Briz was telling us about that with, RG3 and a few others. So very, very cool. But history there for Hex. Andrew Reynolds in the house. That happy hump day. That's a Wednesday, and happy bit hump day to you. Crypto Artie's in the house there. Good to see Crypto Artie as well. Yes, sir, says Briz. Yes, sir. And that is absolutely true. And of course, Briz lives in one of the great places of California. And it's great to have him in chat. All right, let's get into it, folks. We've got a few other people. If you haven't subscribed, smash the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Go on, hit the bell. You like to. You want to. Hit the bell. And, of course, let's keep growing. So let's have a look at the stock market. S&P 500 resumes uptrend after peering gains on report of Russian rocket attacks in Poland. Wait, stop the brakes. Let's go to Discord because we're about to hit 1,000 members. We're at 9,999. There was a 1,000, but it was a fake Superman, and we had to send himself out to another planet. And, of course, we are one away. So if you haven't joined our Discord, hit the link in the video description. It's going good. One more to 1,000. And, of course, this is the biggest, as far as I know, the biggest Pulsechain Hex dedicated community on Discord. I know that Trayvon's on there, but get on there, get into it, folks. And 999, let's get to 1,000. Spread the good word on Discord. So let's jump away from there. Let's get back into the news there. So S&P 500 resumes uptrend after appearing gains on report of Russian rockets in Poland. And so let's just jump through that. We've got the indicators. The Dow Jones Industrials is up almost 0.2%, 56 points to 33,592. We got the, remember that's the top of 30 industrials in the United States that are listed on there. The S&P 500, which a lot of you would have heard about, is up 0.9% to 34 points to 3,991. So that's looking pretty good at this stage. NASDAQ is up 1.5% by 162 points to 11,358. Remember, that's got a lot of the tech companies, and they've been giving, money's been pumping in to these new technologies. And it's been pretty cool. I think we've had about probably 16 or so last time I checked on this sort of topic, technology industries that are revolutionary and sort of ushering us into that next futuristic world. So that's kind of a lot of that's played out. But of course, the technology just keeps growing exponentially from the looks of it. It's a lot of fun. The S&P 500 resumed its trend higher Tuesday as focus returned to signs of easing inflation following a dip earlier in the day on news that Russian rockets had crossed into NATO member Poland. And unfortunately, it looks like it's killed 2 people. So it's unfortunate there. 2 stray Russian rockets landed and killed 2 people in NATO, state of Poland. Associated Press reported, citing an unnamed U.S. intelligence official. The Polish government called an urgent meeting of the National Security Committee. And of course, Russia's defense ministry denied its missile had hit Polish territory, calling the reports a deliberate provocation aimed at escalating the situation. The news had briefly stoked geopolitical tensions, briefly lifting demand for safe haven treasuries and the dollar, but the safe haven move faded and stocks resumed their rally amid signs that inflation is cooling. So this is great. We're really interested in to see the inflation story play out, and it's pulling back a bit here. The producer price index rose 0.2% in October, well below the 0.4% rise expected, reinforcing the notion that peak prices are behind us. Maybe we'll get a double top. We'll see. Stifel said in a note, anyway, we won't get into that. Stifel said in a note following data last week showing slowing consumer prices. That is good news for us, folks. Now, the data added to growing expectations for a slower pace of rates, with just 19% of traders now expecting another 75 basis point rate hike next month, down from 48% in the previous week. So we covered this in full yesterday. If you saw our live stream yesterday, we covered the interest rates in full. And did a pretty solid coverage of that. Now, the Fed monitoring there, it's got it actually moving up even higher than yesterday. It's now at 90% for a 50 basis points hike on the 14th of December, and only 10% at a 75 basis point hike. You can see that in the little pop-up chart there. As Treasury yields slipped, tech stocks advanced. Meta platforms jumped more than 2%, and the later and Alphabet 2% as well, with the later Alphabet attracting the attention of activist investor TCI Fund Management, calling on the tech giant to cut costs and boost share buybacks. Chip stocks. Hey, this one thing that really annoys me is these activist investors. Man, I can't stand these guys. But hey, they're out there. Can't do much about it. Chip stocks also played a big role in the broader melt-up in tech, led by Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing after Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway took a more than $4 billion stake in a chip maker during the third quarter. There's there's a investment fund out there that tracks the Berkshire Hathaway investing, and of course you can invest in that. And he tends to lead into pretty solid positions a lot of the time. The stake in Taiwan Semi, being the greatest investor of all time, of course. The stake in Taiwan Semiconductor from the Oracle of Omaha boosted sentiment in the chip sector, sparking a wave of bullish bets on other chip makers, including Advanced Micro Devices, NVIDIA, and Qualcomm. Yeah, so with semiconductors, most of the, I think it's the machines that make the high-end parts of semiconductor chips, they are in the United States, but a lot of the manufacturing is out there in Asia. So I think there has been some pretty decent call to try and pull more of that, the manufacturing side of it back into the US. I don't know if you've seen those, the laser machines that they use for it or something like that. They're really expensive, really, and hard to make. They're hard to make. China makes the version, but they're really relatively low quality compared to the US. Makes a big difference. Walmart rallied 7%, triggering a sea of green in retail stocks after upgrading full-year guidance following third quarter results that topped Wall Street estimates. The better-than-expected results were driven by strength in Walmart's food business underpinned by strong consumer demand for lower priced groceries. No surprise there, right? People wanting cheaper priced food. It's because of inflation so high. Home Depot gained more than 1% after reporting quarterly results. Their top estimates, even though unchanged guidance, took some gloss off the results. That's for Home Depot. So Home Depot, another sort of a wide consumer indicator also. So that was actually quite a good result, given high investor expectations surrounding the quarter. But I think that in the future, these are probably going to get hammered a lot more there as well. So seeing some of the inflation effects there indicators through Walmart and Home Depot. So pretty cool. Let's jump over to crypto. Good pivot. And of course, let's see where we are. So BTC, not quite the hammer, not quite fallen yet, but it's at 16,847. I feel it's going to fall though, and of course, expecting a good chance that it could happen this week, but maybe it's a bit later next week, maybe even into early December. But I definitely feel that this week is probably a good chance of that. So we will see whether it does capitulate down to maybe 14K or even Richard Hart's 11K. And pray we're going to talk more about that later on. So hold on to the Hex comment. ETH there at 1250, up 1%. We got BNB at down 1% to 276. We've got Matic at 93, Dodge at 8.6. And of course, remember just recently that big pump, people were paying 15.5 cents for Dodge. So they've got to wait now. They've got to wait for Twitter to say, someone like that to say, yeah, we got the wallet coming out. You're going to be able to pay in Dodge for that to rally. So they've got to wait for that. That could be a little while away. Sol there is at 14.25 as well. So all some of the beneficiaries, as we've been talking about, of some of these tech firms, which seem to be, Google Cloud and Twitter and Meta that seem to be getting involved with some of these chains. So that's kind of bullish, right? Now, obviously, it's just at the beginning of that phase. You need to get it mass adopted and widely used and stuff like that. Now, the one thing I was going to say was that Twitter Elon Musk was teasing about one of their meeting calls about content creators getting 10% more than in YouTube. So that makes a natural thing. I've said to you that I think Twitter's probably going to try and integrate across their whole products. You know, they got the Boring Company, they got solar panels and wall batteries. They've got the rockets, they got the cars. Is there anything else I'm missing? They probably got 1 or 2 other things as well. So you see what I mean? Or flamethrowers. But you get my point. Across those technology platforms, you could see it integrating quite well. But of course, what's the biggest way to get money? Get a lot of the YouTube, harvest a lot of the YouTubers and get their content over, particularly maybe in a small way. Maybe they do short video content until they get their back end able to do long content formats, like YouTube's built that up over a long period of time. And then, of course, monetize that and give 10%. Now, YouTube's cut on there is way too high, and it would be nice to see that competition come in. That would be good for YouTube content creators. So looking forward to that. Very, very cool. All right, so let's jump into Hex ecosystem. And, of course, let's get into some of this. We've got a few little things here. I've got to make sure I cover them all because I've got a few things here. Let me have a look here. So we're going to, before we get into Hex, what are we going to be doing? We're going to talk about the bottom here. So what I want to say was I saw a video by Joker. You guys know Joker out there. And he was commenting on Richard Hart's call for the bottom in November. And I don't recall a one where he says it will happen. He says it could happen. And he also lays out a number of variables. And I've commented on that for several weeks. And so I'm just going back to see a video that I saw. There's a very difference between it will happen and it could happen, right? If it will happen, it's kind of an absolute statement that, yeah, it's going to happen in November, the bottom of the market. But my recollection that Richard's been using more terminology around it could happen. And in other words, he's placing a certain amount of probability on it, but it's subject to many variables, you know, the Fed pivoting and capitulation and the rest of the crypto market, like exchanges, things like that. So, you know, the contagion of FTX and stuff like that. So, and that wasn't even in his commentary at the time, right? That wasn't even known. It was something that he's made previously, but not at the time. So let's have a quick look at his comment on picking the bear and let's see what you think. Now, I've had his date in for the 21st of November, which is kind of the time frame when he did this video, which is like 4 to 6 weeks later. And that is coming up, obviously, pretty soon. 5 days. But I actually told you previously that I thought this is actually later because some of the things that he said that were contingent on happening in November were actually a bit deferred. But now it's actually coming back a bit. So we're getting a little bit softer, but I think we talked about that yesterday. The interest rate rises. We'll probably end up having 3 at least, but probably softer, 50 and maybe 20, maybe 50, a 50 and a 25, or a 50, a 25 and a 25, something in that range. So yeah, let's have a quick look at Richard Hart's call for the bottom. This is the one that I thought was the most definitive. So this was on a Hexo show.
Let's measure the next bear. Let's do that. Let's see how smart Richard be. Next bear market, 364 days. That's about a year. Okay. Now let's measure this bear market from my 65K top, 427 days. But let's measure this bear market from the Judas candle, which where I think you have to deleverage from, because people got long there. You need to get the shit liquidated out of them and undone. All them people need wrecked. NFT guys wrecked. Leverage traders wrecked. Assholes that sold you to top wrecked. Michael Saylor, I'm talking to you, you bitch. So like, let me measure it for you. We had like 300 and I'm gonna get on the daily for this. Let me get on the daily so I can give you more specific measurements. One day we'll have advanced screen sharing technology, but we haven't come that far yet. So if I have measured this correct, and I'm going to verify that I did, right now we're 332 days in from the top. And that top, the 69K top, was November 21. So a year out from that is November 21 again.
Right.
That's a month and a week, bro. Or a month and 2 weeks. Month and 2 weeks. So in a month and 2 weeks, bro, maybe Fed, finds a way to pivot. Can't raise rates anymore because it's blowing out jobs too much. Like we got our 85% dip doodle, whatever. Like, bro, next month and a half, you better have your plan ready because it could be the end of the bear, bro.
So there's a key part there. It says maybe that's contingency on the Fed. He says it could be. So he's just doing a year from the Judas candle in November the 21st there. So it could be. It's not because Joker said it will be. So you've got to remember, this is a no drama channel, so we keep away from ad hominem attacks. So that is really you attack the man and not what the man says. So we're interested in what the man says, but we're not interested in attacking the man. That's kind of where we are on this channel. So the point here is that we're taking the call, right? The prediction. And here it's for this video, it's a could be and a maybe if this happens, right? So it could be the 21st, maybe this happens. And basically it's a simple year of a bear market, which we've seen before from November, a Judas candle. So that's kind of where I feel that is at. So we'll listen to the rest of it.
Could. Next month could be the end of the bear. That's good ass news, man.
Yeah.
So people don't realize it. People don't think bear ever ends. They think it just goes on forever.
Yeah.
Nope. It doesn't. Unless you buy the wrong fucking coin, it just goes to zero and stays there forever. But in shit we're looking at has product market fit, doesn't tend to go to zero and stay.
Yeah.
Does normal kind of oscillate stuff. So I think the best news I have to leave with you guys is Pulsechain is going to be stronger and better with a more well audited consensus method that will benefit from the upgrades that Ethereum will make in the future. And it didn't cost us any time. It was quicker. And then, so that's great news. And then this bear market could be over in a month is great news.
So the word could be is, yeah, it's a good chance that it might happen, but it may not happen. And it's also contingent on other variables. So he's basically saying, it could be over in November. We've got a lot of the right things that may shape up for that. And it's been a year since the top. So that's kind of where I feel that is. I don't think it's an absolute statement. And so that's all I just wanted to just hash that out a bit there and show the video itself, right? I'm not sure what video he's referencing, but this is the last update that I recall that was kind of around the bottom of the bear. And so this was about, about 5 weeks ago or so, this video. So yeah, on Hexo's show. So you can watch the rest of that. So that's cool. I just wanted to talk about that. So remember, I'm tackling the issue and not the man, and that's, I think, very important. Okay, cool. Let's jump over to Hex, and let's get into the Hex price here. So we've got Hex at the moment just humming around about 3.3 cents. We had a little butterfly yesterday, doji candle, and today we're at 3.4 cents on the high, 3.26 on the low, and we're just on the low of that today. So we actually got up to 3.4 cents, not too bad. We're just humming around here. This is the accumulation zone. I've had this for a while, right? So we're just on the accumulation zone, and we'll just see where it goes. Now, I'm expecting potentially a Christmas move on Christmas. That's kind of when I next feel the Hex might move. Now, it could go to the top of this range, you know, even try to tackle this previous local high that we had of 5 cents. Could do that in that time frame. But I'm kind of feeling that after the Fed rate hike in here, we might get a nice little Christmas relief rally after the Fed rate hike, especially if it comes in at 50 basis points. But remember that absolutely the federal funds rate is in absolute terms is going up. That's really what hits the market, not the relativity. In other words, the increments that's going up there. And of course, the financial markets will react to that differently. They'll say, oh, we've got a softer increase. It's going to be, we're sort of getting through this now and we can get on with business as usual. But the real economy is facing an absolute higher interest rate, and that will play down in time. And of course, that will come back in on the financial markets and of course, corporate earnings. So, you know, valuations of corporate earnings that will come in more important later on into 2023. We'll start to see some of that stuff hit. So just be aware of that delayed impact at the moment. So, but in any case, these sort of there'll be more interest rate rises, but a lot as high is kind of what we're expecting, and maybe we'll get 3 before we finish. Maybe 4 possibly. So we'll see. All right, so cool. There we are at the moment. So we're at the 3.2 in the accumulation range. We're past the US elections. Looks like pretty good recently. Looks like the Democrats managed to take the Senate, and the Republicans take the House just. So that's kind of where we are at this stage. That would gridlock policy, and that is good for crypto folks. That should be good. Now there is a bit of battling going on for leadership, and people talking about GOP, talking about 1 or 2 GOP characters talking about doing deals with Democrats and all sorts of crazy stuff. So we'll see how that plays out. The Hex HSI auctions, of course, are running, and like I say, we've just finishing day 3 in about 5 minutes actually, and day 4 starting from memory. So that's pretty cool. We got Pulsechain V3. We're going to talk about that too. And we've got the Hex 3rd birthday coming up pretty fast on the 2nd of December, and our PC inflation. This is really what the Fed's looking at in terms of the 2%. That is currently 5.1% in September. What will it be for October? Presumably it's going to be lower because these other measures have been lower. Producers Price Index, the CPI has been lower. So no doubt the PCE inflation is going to be probably lower. Now remember, the PCE is a broader, better indicator based on the GDP indicator, and so whereas the CPI, you know, it's a basket of goods and a survey-based approach. So this will be a better indication of broader inflation. Takes into a lot more things. So we'll see how that goes. So that's kind of where we are at the lay of the land now. Pulsechain V3, Wen Pulsechain, sir. Wen Pulsechain, sir. And we're going to jump back here. We have had quite a few updates. We had, remember, in GitLab. I actually haven't pulled that up, so let me pull up GitLab. We're going to tackle that just briefly here. We have talked about this the other day, but I wanted to bring it up again. So we had all these updates the other day in here. Now, normally these are just ho-hum, but what picked my ears up, and this is the public side, right? So this isn't the private side. The private side is where the devs have their own folders and are running all their test nets and things like that. So this is the public side that we're looking at, just to make that clear. Don't want to mislead there. But what really, prick my ears up, as it were. I think that's the saying. I always have these. I always botch up the sayings. Everybody knows that. I was in Discord the other day, and everyone's laughing at me botching up all the sayings. But anyway, I mix all the sayings up. It's crazy. And yeah, you know. So Richard Hart, he came out with this on one of the Twitter Spaces around talking about the Git lab, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so let's listen to him talk about that now.
Well, thank you for answering my question.
My pleasure. So as soon as all you guys want to ask Wen Pulsechain, I don't know, dude. As soon as it's ready, they're working on it. There's been a lot of movement in the the GitLab. So
yeah, so that was what really made me go, whoa. He's talking about the GitLab. That's pretty interesting. Doesn't typically talk about that. And we did have those runs. Look at that. All the things got updated. Now, I'm not sure whether that's just some of the text-based stuff, so therefore they don't have to do as much work when they actually roll it out. So, yeah, we've got a bit of a wild card there, I think, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the GitLab stuff excites me.
Yep.
But
when you see V3 testnet come out, you can be more excited.
Right, so there we are. So when we see V3 testnet out, we'll get more excited. We definitely will. I actually believe it's going to be a very good catalyst to move the market, particularly around Hex. So I think that's going to be bullish for Hex. Now, the other thing with Hex, of course, is that I posted a video yesterday from your friend Somi on Twitter, who I always like his comments. He always gives us really great comments about everything. I think one of the more knowledgeable people in the space, to be honest, and probably underappreciated. I think that he is one of the top commentators, actually, to be honest. So, yeah, I posted a video on him yesterday, just interpreting Richard Hart's ETH call in the Twitter spaces, and, of course, how that would do an implied price for Hex, if you haven't checked that out, within 5 years of about $25. Now, it doesn't mean there are a couple of that's just a basic mathematical calculation, but doesn't mean that that the circulating supply doesn't play in, the liquidity plays in, how long that price will hold up at that period of time, doesn't deal with all those different questions. So just remember that is where the price could go, and maybe if it gets there, maybe it stays a certain amount of time. So we still have a lot of circulating supply in Hex. You guys know I cover it as in depth with the waterfall chart. I need to update that, but it is going down dramatically. We have been so lucky to have Dip Catcher and Gold Key, lock way over, I think it's 1.1 billion Hex, and that's been fantastic. We've also had Alex McFurter with Ikosa and Hedron lock away hundreds and hundreds of millions of Hex in the HSI stakes, and that is reducing the circulating supply. That's all in addition to, of course, Pulsechain and Pulsex, which got rid of over 5 billion off the market, and of course that's been playing out well. We've had a lot of people merge the end stakes, good accounting. 50% of those go to the OA, and the OA is like the financial operator from my point of view. Its behavior, its existence is controversial, but its behavior is beneficial to the staker class and, of course, the inflation. So that's kind of my view on it. Obviously, you need to do your own investment due diligence, but that is pretty awesome from my point of view. And obviously, it regulates inflation through that mechanism, just one of the mechanisms, and, of course, through staking as well. So it has a partial staking amount as well, and that regulates inflation also. So there's a couple of beautiful little mechanisms there that the OA accounts and the sacrifice accounts do, which is pretty cool. Yeah, let's move on from that. So that's kind of where we're looking at the stage. So that's like a 5-year view of the price potential. I'm very bullish about the price in the next cycle. Definitely doing what are my calculations, $3 to $4 or so. That's kind of where I feel comfortable at this stage talking about. So that's kind of where I feel in the shorter term for the next all-time high. I think we could do a pretty good price in the next bull run there. All right, so cool. Let's jump over to the Hex Whale bot and see what's been going on the last 24 hours. We've got the Hex alerts there. We had 100 million there. This is a short staker. So we've still got a lot of these large short stakers. This is what I'm talking about. Circulating supply is still pretty decent. It has come down dramatically and maybe even by 10 billion or so, something like that. It's come down about 10 billion or so. But there's still a lot out there. Maybe, I'm just getting this off the top of my head, maybe there's still like something like 15 billion around circulating around. This is non-origin account, source account stuff. This is the public. So there's still a lot about there. A lot of it's inactive. So there'll be large whales holding large positions like Overwatch and things like that. A lot of it's inactive. But there is still a lot around. So every cycle, that's only part of the equation. What actually matters is how much is active, how much goes into a liquidity pool, and of course how the AMM, how much is in that liquidity pool versus supply and demand. So that's that sort of supply and demand, so sort of next level down. All right, so we've still got quite a few of those, and let's jump over this. We've got 109 million Hex stake for 49 days, so just ping that back. 30 million there in stake after 90 days. Another one of these short-term stakers. So I consider short term these large holders. If they're doing like 90 days, 120 days, it's kind of in that short term. We have quite a few of those, and it's kind of the front of the wave, as I like to describe it. We got another 50 million here after 90 days. We got 75 million Hex stake for a year, so that's pretty nice. What else we got going on here? Whalebot there. We had 4 million Hex bought 10 hours ago, so yeah, very nice. I'm not sure if we've got any comments on that. Normally people are nice step by step. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go there. Damn, homie, says somebody else. We got 204,000 in stake there, so a bit of penalties in an hour ago, so that's pretty nice. And we've just ticked over the day, so we got we're on another day. We'll get to Hex daily stats later on. So that's kind of where we're at this moment. Very, very cool. All right, let's jump into some of the news around the highest of stakes. Obviously, this is sort of around the Hex ecosystem, and very excited about this. Now, I do have a video on this. Hopefully, the music's not copyright. So this was a video that came out. So they've been doing the music soundtrack for the highest of stakes, and of course, people can pre-order those. Some people are doing that, which has been pretty cool. So Hex on the Beach says, thanks, going to be such amazing memento for this whole journey. So obviously they purchased that as well. I think it was Sandy Beach or somebody else in the chat there that said that they had purchased this. Thanks for your purchase. Interesting here, right now the release is for highest of stakes is slated for Q1 2023, but that may change. So some people have been trying to use that for a Pulsechain launch as well. And that's kind of a very popular period in there at the moment. So, but may change. We'll keep you updated. So it's interesting there. A lot of people putting in that. So cool. We've got this video that came out 7 hours ago. The inside scoop of how the story Richard Hart got in front of us and what will happen next. Who is excited about the full making of the movie? I think we're all pretty excited. Just about half of the first batch of box sets left if you want to snag yours. So it already looks like they've sold about half of those. We're going to pull up the website there and look at that. Pretty nice, man. Pretty nice. Cool. Let's jump out of there. Very cool. They've got they're not they're a bit of a premium product, so just remember that. But that is all the box set there. So cool. Pretty nice website there, so you can check that out. I'll post that in the chat there. Let me just get the tweet here if you want to have a look at that. Check that out. Bam. That is the highest of the stakes there, but we're going to look at the trailer here. Let's get into it, and I think I got it here. Just let me get rid of some of these other videos that I just played. Here we go. Bam.
We're doing an interview right now.
The highest of stakes.
What is the highest of stakes?
In one word and one word only.
Magic.
The one thing that I've seen come true again and again and again and continually is that desire matters most, and I know how much desire we brought to wanting to see this thing happen.
I don't even know that I believe in magic, but I think I do after making this movie, because there's just so many things that happened that seem like they're 1 in a million.
Do you remember back, like, how all of this started?
Oh yeah, I sure as hell remember the moment this started.
I told you about this when I was like, listen, this cryptocurrency, this guy has got a $500 million market cap cryptocurrency. Hey, Patrick, it just hit $1 billion. You got to talk to this guy.
And Quattro keeps busting up my cell phone with text messages. And I can just remember the YouTube video popping up. Mr. Hart, he's got a top hat on and a velvet backdrop. No, thank you. No, thank you. I didn't even watch it.
Richard is frankly the wildest, craziest character ever, and I know that you guys are character people.
You don't run a node. You are the bitch of the actual pool that runs a node, and they decide what the consensus rules are.
I was like yelling at the top of my, like standing in my chair, fuck this guy. Yeah, this guy is fucking, who does this guy think he is?
It's been nearly a decade since a story has crossed our desk that felt so large, so compelling, so incredible that we would take it. Yeah, I mean, figuratively, metaphorically.
There are very few people that are as strong of a character. We didn't know what to make of them. We didn't know what exactly the story was, but we knew we had an insane character, and we know as storytellers, that's your ceiling. Like, the stronger your character, the stronger your story can be. So there was something there for sure, even though we didn't know quite what it was.
So that's pretty much that from there. I thought it was pretty good. A little teaser there. I'm sure they're going to drop us a lot more in there. So that's pretty cool. We've got Hex just ticking away there in the accumulation phase. It's at 3.3 cents at the moment. We've got some pretty bullish price forecasts for the next few years. We've got the highest stakes coming out Q1 from the looks of it, subject to any change. Obviously, they're in the distribution phase, so they're trying to sell it, having the meetings, sales agents and things like that. And of course, that's been pretty cool. In the meantime, we've seen Richard really step up with this FDX, getting invited by Kim.com on Twitter Spaces. I think it was yesterday, and of course, really owning that space. Still, some people don't like the style still, so that's fine. I mean, you're not going to win everybody over, but the message is starting to get out. But it does seem to be taking for a complete, a collapse in the centralized CFI and exchanges. We've seen this margin trading really has been the big catalyst there. And of course, this lending on, you get one asset, they lend on it, and this money's moving around and no one knows what's going on. We've seen a lot of that. So a lot of this integration between exchanges, between CFI platforms and all sorts of stuff has really been getting a lot of people wrecked. And we're at Celsius, Three Arrows, BlockFi. Nexo is had issues, and that potentially could be the big one. They say they're not doing that sort of stuff, but we will see in time. Obviously, Voyager and many others. There's so many now. And Richard's talked about a lot of these ones over the last couple of years, and there's a lot of videos flooding around about that as well. And it's, of course, the Twitter space with Kim.com yesterday was pretty nice that Kim.com invited him in. And, of course, he dropped some whole ton of alpha in there. And it took a little while, but as he went on, more and more people started listening to him and getting through the noise and going, yeah, okay, yeah, I understand what he's saying, yeah, so forth. So there were a few people that could sort of they couldn't get past Richard's style that they couldn't actually listen. They weren't listening, so it's going to take a little while longer for them to get through there. But in any case, we did have one CEO at least. There's a couple, but I got a little video of at least for one example of how people are starting to really think about how Hex is working and how genius some of the stuff Richard is doing. Not only is he giving some great insights and almost standing alone as a founder. Now, obviously, there's lots of other people out there that make great calls, don't get me wrong. But as one of the founders, I think he's really owned the space as a founder and been on the right side. Now, you can judge for yourself, of course. And, of course, he's been getting out there. But not only that, he's providing really genius solutions. And that's the other side. So it's not just about the market calls and, of course, the industry trends. It's also about the product solutions. And, of course, Hex, one of the few coins to do, 10,000X and, of course, own the last bull market, which is pretty good. And we've got a very bright future ahead of us. So if you haven't checked out hex.com, links in the video description. But let's have a look at one of the CEOs that, they're changing their minds. They're starting eventually getting them through. How many CFIs have to get wrecked to do it? But it seems it is eventually coming around. So let's check out one here.
And I don't think he's a malicious scammer. My thoughts on Hex, are that I agree that what he did is technically genius. He created a blockchain that used smart contracts, all of which prevented him from getting any sort of legal liability. There's no need for money transmitter licenses, and I'm very familiar with all this stuff because I'm the CEO of Embly, a prepaid Bitcoin debit card, right? And I have to go through all these things or whatever and run through all these policies and procedures to remain regulatory compliant. But Richard Hart, where I had to go within and color within the lines to create my good or service, right? What Richard Hart created was basically a concept of banking using smart contracts on Ethereum, which we can all debate sucks and is going to fail and probably will, right? Still a Bitcoin maximalist here. But what he did was create something and use his genius to do so, and he succeeded. So I think that is true. It is a centralized shitcoin. But when you stake your coins, it's not going to a staking wallet, and therefore there is no property by any central authority. It's getting burned, and then those coins that you burned according to your sacrifice period are going to get minted on that block and given to you the day that your burned tokens or your staked tokens, were staked or back with your percentage in full, right? So he did all these things that I thought were pretty creative. So I think that has to be respected. Now, again, I still think Bitcoin is the best money.
So there we are. So you're getting more and more people like that coming around. So it's going to take a bit more time and it might take 5-10 years, but it's happening faster and faster and faster, I think. Hex is heading towards its 3rd birthday. We're only, about 2 weeks away, so it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's move on from Hex. And, of course, Hex.com's in the video description. Make sure you do your investment due diligence. Remember, nothing on this channel is investment advice. Let's see how we're going on Discord. Have we reached the 1,000? We're still at 999. I know we can do it. If you haven't joined our Discord, the link's in the video description. We are almost at 1,000. And, of course, it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you like good information, good community, get in there, folks. That's the way to go. All right, so let's get on to Hedron. Hedron, obviously, is the big thing at the moment. And, of course, at least for the next couple of days. Why do I say the next couple of days? Stay tuned. But we've got the Hex HSI auctions on at the moment, just starting day 4 now. And, of course, we've just finished day 3. And, of course, we've got 71,000 plus. It is higher than that. It moves around, of course, but it's higher than that. 6,700 HSIs. These numbers were the starting amount. And, of course, that will be dynamic as we move forward because people can recycle. They can win, use Hedron to win Hex HSI stakes, and then they can recycle those and get Ikosa and over and over. And this is part of the mechanism. If that mechanism keeps going, a bit like the fusion of the sun, but keeps going, we could see some absolutely amazing, insane things happen to Ikosa and Hedron, I think. I think Ikosa is going to be the interesting side of that, but Hedron itself could be a massive beneficiary. So we'll be watching that pretty closely. It's going to be fun to see. Now, obviously, here we are. We got the price at the moment has been the low of 2,839. Are we on the right day? I think we are. And we've got the high of 3,033 at the moment. Yesterday was 256, a high of 3,000. So sitting around this 3,000 mark seems to be where we're at the stage. We didn't get that big rally into it, but who knows? We might get the rally out on the other side as we get more burning of Hedron, and trillions of Hedron are now being burned. So it's going to be fun to see. Let's jump over to the Ikosa and have a look at the auctions that are up. So these are the Hex HSI stakes that have, remember when people make 8 Hex HSI stakes, they sell it to their Ikosa contract. The Ikosa contract gives that person Ikosa. They get to stake the Ikosa and earn Hedron and Ikosa. That's how that works. Sounds funny, but that's how it works. And of course, the HSI, the Ikosa contract takes that Hex HSI that it bought, and it then goes and borrows the Hedron against it. And after 90 days, it's completely faulted every 30 days. So then after 90 days, it shows up here. So we can see after 90 days, all these have shown up here, and it's now available for auction. So you can click start auction there. So this has all got their starting bids on here. And so forth. And of course, we've got the active one. So once they are ready to go to auction, they go to auction, and here is the auction house, so to speak. So there we are. We've got the auction house, and we've got all these Hex HSIs up for grabs. We've got all these bids on them. We've got the bidders on here, and all these ones have closed. So it says lost, I think, because it's my wallet's connected. I never bid on them, so I lost or something. I guess that's what it's saying there. But people have won all these. With these winning bids. Now, how many we got at the moment in the market? We started off with thousands yesterday, last couple of days. Now, every day is going to get less and less and less, and I'll show you that in a second. But they're going to keep ticking over. So it'll be less. Like the first day was a big day, something like 24,000 T-shares. Second day was like 3,000 T-shares, etc. We'll look at that. We've got 256 on the list here, but only so many of them open. Maybe 100 and 170 are still open or something like that. But you can see the clock ticking down here on these. So pretty cool. Some people have been able to get some crazy deals. Some people have made some big mistakes with the Hedron bids, not thinking about how many zeros they're using. And we've seen a real mixture there. So on and so on. There's thousands of these. But there's a lot of people bidding on them. And I guess a lot of value being hooked up there. Now, some people, when they win these, they're going to take them and sell them to the Ikosa contract again and recycle them around. Every time they get bid on, every 90 days, the Hedron is going to be burned. So it's just pretty neat from that point of view. So let's look at some of the macro figures. So we're on app.ikosa.pro. You can find all these in our Discord under useful links. Hey, it looks like we might have member number 1,000, Superwoman, her Hex. So that is probably not the real one there. So cool. Her Hex. So that's probably some fake. That'll probably be spammed out. So cool. All right, so cool. We're going to jump over here. We're up to on Hedron here. We're going to jump over to, we had a bit of spam. Once you get your channel starts growing, you get a lot more spam. Just part of the way things go. You guys know. All right, so let's jump over to Polynomics. No, we're not quite up to that yet. So let's go to Yeah, let's go to Maximus. We'll go on Maximus here. We've got the Polynomics, so poly prices there. It's currently showing at 50221 on the old. It's up 4% over the last wee while. So that's pretty cool. That is poly. We've also got. Let me make sure I've got the right one here. We've got the water token is also on the market. Seems to be saying $2.65 on ETH. So there's a poly water trading pair and a water ETH pair, but they're very small. They're only a couple $1,000s each in liquidity. So that's kind of they've been trading at the moment and so forth. So let's look at what else has Maximus been doing. So they've closed their poly. The poly phase was over 22 hours ago. And poly currently trading a 33 discount to the backing value. So we could see a little rally on poly possibly. I haven't checked the value there. We got 132 billion Hedron was staked prior to the start of the auctions. The remaining 1.7 trillion Hedron will be added to the stake in 29 days. So that is kind of where all that Hedron is. Remember, because of the method error in terms of the treatment of thinking that the auction stakes were tokenized, they weren't, and so they weren't being able to transfer because of the wrong method. However, of course, we had the Hedron SA account, the source account, go and mint 500 billion poly and then burn it. And of course, instead of losing 15%, you ended up gaining 10% on Hedron. So really, poly, the welcome to Hex ecosystem is the best, man. And of course, these teams look after each other. Obviously, who knows who runs the SA accounts, right? Inverted comments, but that was pretty cool. Now, 16 hours ago, Dipcatcher posted Poly has earned 33,000 Ikosa so far, currently worth about 1 million Hex. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? So they're going to benefit from, obviously, all the auctions going on as well. So they may not have bidded up the auction, so everybody else that's in there, obviously not going to benefit from the bidding pressure that Poly would have created. And of course, they're going to be diluted by the Hedron that's been staked, or at least in 29 days. They certainly people are benefiting from the Ikosa here, so that's pretty neat. What else have we got here? So poly price setting at 0.75 Hedron, 31% discount. It says here, and you haven't actually got that pair up there to be sold within a range of 0.6, 0.85. Buying opportunity for an undervalued asset redeemed. So I haven't actually got that trading pair up there, but you can check out the Poly Hedron trading pair there. I don't think there is one actually, so I'm not sure where that is. Let me have a look at this one, Poly Hedron. Yeah, so you can go find this and see whether you can get an advantage there. Might be a bit of a premium there. Once again, do your own investment due diligence. But that is a tweet there from Mr. EPLS there, not Dipcatcher. So that's pretty cool. What else? The Hex ecosystem looking pretty good. Look at all the stuff that Maxi's made, man. Crazy good. Despite the plot twist, Poly is on the road to greatness. Certainly is. I think that's pretty much it on there. So Poly Maximus is a massive 15-year liquid Hedron stake now backed by 1-to-1. Much like Maxi, Poly will earn a Ikosa yield every day, increasing its backing value. As at redemption, Poly holders can redeem the Hedron and Ikosa yield, burning their Poly. Isn't that cool? So very cool stuff happening there. And a big shout out to both Dipcatcher and of course Alex Mafurda and Golki for that. That is how these guys are working together. It's pretty cool. All right, so there are always trade-offs as well. So this is the way it goes. Let's jump out of here, and we're going to go into let me jump out of there too, and jump out of that. So there is a Poly dashboard as well. I'm not sure if I don't think I actually have the link for the Poly dashboard. I'm not sure if it's actually circulating. I'll have to try and see whether that's around. Let me know in Discord if you have a link to that, to the Poly dashboard. I don't actually have one at the moment, so I'll try and get hold of that. So that's kind of cool. That's where we are on the Ikosa Hedron HSIs. Now, obviously, they did super well there with that 1.7 trillion Hedron there. That was fantastic. And what's that, $6.5 million just with that? That was pretty amazing on the results there for Maximus Poly. Now, the daily stats. So now we're getting down into the nitty gritty now. And of course, this is hexmodel.com. This is created by Dev Huey. And let's have a look at some of his updates before we get into his website, which is hexmodel.com. That's also in our useful links on Discord. We got 1.58 trillion Hedron burned, 6.3 million Ikosa per pool. So that was pretty cool. That was on the 15th. Who's going to be the baller and burn a Watsa NFT before midnight UTC? Dare you? Yeah, that's what I suspected, that we get a lot of Watsas burned trying to capture the Ikosa yield in the first couple of days. 1.6 trillion burn on the 15th, 6.5. So that was just increasing the burn, massive amount of burn, right? A lot of you wondering about recycling HSIs, and this is the quick one I want to look at. Quick analysis. This is 23 hours ago. It looks like just 6,000 T-shares sold to Ikosa today. So let's have a look at this. This is HSI T-shares sold for Ikosa. We've got the big amount on the 15th, which is where we started. And of course, look at this today. Woohoo! So a lot is being resold there. And that's going to burn Hedron, baby, 90-day cycles. It's going to be pretty epic. Really is going to be cool. So that's really good there. I won't retweet that, but that's pretty neat. What else we got going there? 12 hours ago, 605 billion Hedron burned today so far. 800 T-shares sold to Ikosa a buyback. Yesterday, approximately 6,500 T-shares were sold to Ikosa buyback. So that we expected that. We're going to have that first day, second day, third day, and then the fourth day, right? So that's kind of to be expected. We also had 12 hours ago, Watts from day one have currently earned 71% of their purchase price, priced on Ikosa, a price of $1, and not long until break even. And that's a very big deal there. What will happen to the market with that when we get people to 100% break even? Obviously, some people might, it's going to be interesting. Well, they're going to go beyond that, but it's going to be interesting to see the behavior with free carry or whatever they decide to do. So that's pretty cool. From there, let's have a look at the actual website, though. We've got on the Hedron daily stats, we've got the burn, of course, 5.39 trillion burn. We've got the big burn from the first day there, 1.6 trillion. That was pretty outstanding. I'm not sure if this is updated, actually, because that's where it is at the moment. Where else? I think we're on that. Let's jump over to the Wattses and have a look at the Wattses. We've got there is the amount there. It's on $100,000 Ikosa, 716, which is pretty amazing. So that's amazing stuff. So yeah, Deb Huey said it well. Back down here, 716 there, so 71%. So that's pretty cool. So 71% there, returned back on that already. So pretty cool. Let's have a look at Ikosa. Actually, we do have the numbers on there. I'm not sure if we have the numbers. No, we don't have the numbers on there. He does have a premium access, so you have to pay for that. Just remember, I haven't paid for that because I'm not participating in these auctions, just commentating on them or reviewing them. We've got the Ikosa yield, all pretty stellar as well. And Hedron and Ikosa. Remember, you stake Ikosa, you get Hedron and Ikosa. You stake Hedron, you get Ikosa. And if you got Wattses, you get Ikosa. Remember, let's look at the HSI buybacks. This is a list, basically an overview of all the Hex HSIs up for grabs. And you can see the list here as well with the 555 is a really big one. 5.5 million stake there, 555 days. So pretty cool stuff that you can see on here. The big amounts. Now this one doesn't have the rest of the time frame. Maybe I have to play around with it, but that's where it is at the stage. Cool. The homepage has some cool arbitrage details around Hedron, Ikosa, and things like that. So it's pretty cool. You can play around with the calculators as well. So nice. All right, so let's jump away from there. Big shout out to Dev Huey for all of that alpha from as well. So that's where we are with Hedron at the moment, 2,959, and we've got Hex at 3.3 cents. We're coming up to 54 minutes, or almost up to the hour, 5 minutes to the hour. And let's get into the big news with the airdrops and free claims. Now, if you want to get to airdrop free claims, you can go into our Discord, go down to Pulsechain projects, and get into airdrop free claims. And we've got a list of all the ones there. And we may be adding a new one to that maybe in the next day. So stay tuned for that. That's pretty cool. So we're going to look at the price charts for some of these that are already available. We've obviously got Pulse Dodge Coin. It's currently at $5.92. Yesterday, it got to a high of $6.10. Today, it's been a high of $6.06. And of course, we're slowly progressing through the transform period, which is 60 days, and the asset token miner, which is 30 days. Once we get to the end of this asset token miner, Pulse Bitcoin will be on the market. Somebody will put it on there, the first miners. So pretty cool on that. So we'll see how we get on there at the moment. Let's make the plane red because it is kind of red at the moment. So it's cool. That'll go white. I made the plane white. Woohoo! It's neutral. It's neutral. But yeah, red. That's where we're at the stage. So let's see how we get on. We've got the numbers at the moment on Pulse Bitcoin. We've got 2.9 million Pulse Bitcoin burned so far. And that's been for every one Pulse Bitcoin one Pulse Bitcoin that you transform into asset tokens, you get 5 asset tokens. So there's 40.5 million asset tokens. 48.628% has been burned so far. That looks like a little bit of a jump there today, just a little one, but that's getting closer to 50%. Let's jump over to the miners and see how much is being mined. We've got 7,000 miners now. Woohoo! Another milestone. But 14 million asset tokens. And how much has been mined so far? 1,073,000 Pulse Bitcoin has been mined, but not minted yet. And of course, we won't get that minted. We're on day 26 out of 60. So we've still got 4 days to go until that will be minted, I guess, or 5 days. Yeah, 4 days until that be minted. So just remember, there's no Pulse Bitcoin on the market. You can buy asset tokens on the market instead of transforming PLSD, and you can obviously buy PLSD on the market. Let's go to the asset tokens. 4 days and 20 hours to go, almost 21 hours to go. So we're ticking down on the timer. It's 2,709 ATMs, 893 points, and $2.4 million. We had a big wow come in, was it yesterday? And jumped that up big time. Yeah, 2.4 million now dollars and 2.4 million points there. And of course, people earn ASICs. They don't get to mine unless they put it in the miner, but that's where they are at the stage. So it's pretty cool. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. That is the next bit. Now, I talked about Hedron HSIs, Hex HSIs being the big deal at the moment, but you can tell that in about 4 days and 21 hours, approximately around that, I think it is, we're going to have Pulse Bitcoin on the market, and that is going to be the next talk of the town because there's a huge community involved in transforming PLSD to asset tokens, putting in the miner, and then minting Pulse Bitcoin. That's going to be pretty badass. Now, I think it would be even better. Imagine if Pulse Litecoin came out when Pulse Bitcoin hit the market, and that you could actually use the asset token to mine Pulse Litecoin. I think that'd be quite a thrill. Maybe that's a wild card there. We'll see. What will the whales do? Of course, that's the other thing. And of course, maybe we'll get that classic, big rise in the chart at the beginning with the first liquidity. Then it will get sold down, and then we'll get a nice big hockey stick. Maybe we'll get that classic sort of pattern. And then after the hockey stick, you got to sell at the top, and then it's going to go down again, and that sort of thing. We'll see how it goes. There's a lot of people interested in this, a lot of people involved, and they do have their own pocket of whales, including Wolverine out there, I guess, and Pepe and people like that. So it's going to be fun to see. Whale games as well, against whale on whale games. There's going to be that too. So it's going to be fun. We'll see. It is a virtual representation of Bitcoin itself. So that's kind of the narrative there. It's a pretty cool narrative. I like it. Pretty cool. All right, so that's pretty much that for that. Let's have a quick look at some of the others. Briefly, we've got Zen just holding up here, stubborn little Zen at 40106, so 4 1,000 on ETH. It's on 9 chains now too. That's part of its cross-chain strategy. And of course, network effect is what it's really homing in on there. It has got the NFTs coming out, the Zen NFTs, and some sort of burning mechanism. And I think it may be quite significant. So I will try and catch myself up on this one. We will see, because so far the market's holding up here. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So cool. I've minted, what have I minted? I haven't gone crazy. I know some people have done hundreds of counts. Some people have done like 1,000. We know Richard doesn't like this particular project. I've said that it's got a log function. So we've got all the inflation at the beginning. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's a possible play. And it's the network effect is kind of its quality qualifier there. But once again, it's not a probable play. It's not a near-term play. The Zen NFTs was a nice addition, and that's going to potentially hold a lot of value, especially if the burn is significant. So I'll come back on that one. But at the moment, it is holding up there at 1,000. I've got, like I say, I can't remember. Maybe I've got a dozen stuff, but I've actually staggered it. So it's actually staggered. So we'll see whether I'm able to make any money out of that. I'm already in the money. I did the short ones, and they played out right. So I actually covered all my costs. So that's fine. And a bit more. So we'll see how we go with these slightly longer ones as they come out. And, Zen NFTs might end up playing well for that. We'll see. That's just a fun little speculative play, but we'll see how we get on. I do have longer ones, of course. If it does in a possibility play, if it does do well, maybe I don't think it's going to be the half-life because log function on, but I think it's going to be maybe a quarter of the way through, something like that. It might do some firing. You always got to ask the question, it doesn't have buy and hold principle. Richard talks about buy and hold, doesn't have that at this stage. You stake it, but it's not really, there's so much volume that sort of it gets diluted. The other side of it, you got to say, where's all the money going to come from? We know that some of the exchanges are participating, but they participate to make money. So we've got that playing as well. So there's quite a few variables you have to juggle around as well. There is data sites, so you can check out the data sites if you want to check that out to learn more. Those data sites are very important in terms of perhaps timing of how the prices might go in particular times. So it does help play in there. All right, so we've got PP, Paul Pleb, free airdrop of 2. That is currently at 502760, so 2,700. It is, I had a green day, so that's not too bad. The low at 235, now to high 282. The weight token is down just under 0.2 of a penny, really weakening off here. Let's have a little zoom in on this. It's really weakened off there, 0.2 of a penny. So it's better than nothing, but it's probably not worth minting, I would say, for a lot of people. Anyway, so that's kind of where we are there. Let's jump over to the comments there. I think we had a couple of comments on Pulse Bitcoin. I'm not sure if I read those. Where are we up to here? 5 days remaining. Pulse Bitcoin. Yeah, I think he's going to be doing another asset token giveaway for Pulse Bitcoin. So you might want to follow that because I know you guys like that. So you can go check that out on Pulse Bitcoin site. I might post that in the chat there in case you want to chase down any of those asset giveaways. So cool. All right, so that is pretty much it on there. Let me jump over to the talk of the town. So the end of our video title, we've got Powerball soon and BNB pumps again. Look at pumps again. We're now flipped over to another day about 30 minutes ago. And there's a 30-minute chart here. This is yesterday's chart that we just finished. And it is at the low here on 3 days ago was $7.52, got to $11.86. Then yesterday was the low was $10.32, high of $13.38. Today, the low is $13.35. We're only 30 minutes into it, and $13.42. This is really pumped here. Powerball is the big news, the second game. And this was a surprise, wasn't expected. Just came out of the blue, and here we are. So very, very exciting about that. And then, of course, we're expecting maybe 2 weeks later to get roulette. And, of course, the NFTs that were auctioned off for that, people will own the house with those NFTs. They have to fund the liquidity. That's going to be an interesting question around that. But, of course, at the moment, that's safeguarding those contracts, the LP contracts for that against any potential attack vectors. So the more innovation you have, you got to cover the attack vectors, right? This is the way it goes. So at the moment, really, really nice. Look at that chart. Beautiful, beautiful. So like I said, this is going to have its ups and downs until we get rid of that participation allocation. So that's in ahead of us, right? So but once we get that reallocated, so it has to get reallocated, right? Just like sacrifices. This is the first sacrifice project to come out. It's been, I think, very successful. It's got had a few little issues, but it comes with the space when you're innovating at the frontier. It's the world's first peer-to-peer crypto casino. We're looking at it from the staking point of view. So you stake the BNBP, you just earn the revenue from people playing, and that's pretty cool. Sit back and relax, as we say. We like that sort of thing. So cool. We're up 80% in 2 days, basically. So that's pretty nice. Very nice. So that's going pretty well. Let's have a quick look at the actual jackpot. It just keeps ticking over. Let's see how many games we're up to at the moment. 6,611 games have been played so far. So it's pretty cool. We can see that people are in here. Now, there's heaps of tokens you can potentially win. Accepted tokens now is pretty big. Look at all that. All those accepted tokens. It just keep adding to this list. It's got to have liquidity. But you can see most of these are mostly pretty popular. In fact, I think all of them are pretty popular tokens there. All of them. So pretty cool on that. There's a referral program, so you can get into that if you want to do that. You get to clip the ticket on that with BNBP. That doesn't get paid out until the end of though. Now, obviously, staking, you can stake. We've got the headline measures here. 2,300 is for the airdrop so far. The airdrop is monthly. And, of course, the lottery, looks like the lottery just got paid out. So someone's won the lottery. It goes out about every week. And, of course, the burn there, 37.3. And that gets called as well. So it's like the burn's supposed to be every day, but it has a callable function, I think, to all of these, actually. The stake percentage coin, 75.31%. But you've got to remember the participation, while at the 100,000 is also staked. And it only gets reallocated for the winners and referral people, I think, until the very last one has been won. So that's kind of where we're at this stage. Let me have a look at the. Let's have a look at the. I think it's under referral, is it? Yeah, 48,320 BNBP has been won so far. So it's almost halfway. So almost halfway on there. They have slowed it down because they lowered it from 50 BNBP max to 20 BNB max, BNBP max, I should say. So we've still got just over 50% of the way to go there. So that won't hit the market as well. I suspect a decent amount will hit the market, because these are won by players. Some of the players will just stake it and they'll just get in their system because the system's designed to just pump itself. But after this, you've got to get through this first. And so that's coming up as well. So just take that into account when you're thinking about things. that's still coming up there. I think some of it will, some of the more speculative players that have been winning this and gaming the system. Now, gaming the system, we're agnostic because the value is still coming through to you, right? So it's like, okay, who cares? But there is a degree of how big you make that pot, and reducing for 50 to 20 BNBP in the winning pot was a good move. So I probably would have moved it even down to 10. I don't even think you actually need it at the end of the day. Maybe you need a little bit. I don't know. I don't think you do. But we will see. The market will just tell us whether we're right or wrong about that. The game itself is so lucrative that why would you care? Anyway, the next one coming up is Powerball, and that was a surprise, came out of nowhere. That's coming up in the next couple of days, maybe today, tomorrow, who knows? It's pretty cool. And then we've got Roulette potentially within the next 2 weeks. So there'll be 3 major operation games. After that will be the Fortune Wheel. We'll probably get that, 6 to 7 weeks from now, somewhere like that. It's probably where we might reasonably expect that one to come. Then I think they're going, I'm not sure if it's quite in this order now. I'm not sure if they're going sports or price calls next. Spice calls. There are other games as well, I think, that are on the roadmap. So just take that into account. People talk about table games and things like that. So we'll see how those go. All right, cool. That is pretty much the BNB, but that is the chart at the moment. $13.42. And of course, I guess the best performing chart at the moment. Just rocking it up on the DMB. Stake it to make it, as we say. All right, so cool. I was just annoyed that I didn't win the weekly lottery. Hey, I bet Briz won it, and he's not telling us. It's probably happened there. All right, so let's jump over to the Hex stakes, Hex results for the Hex Daily Stats. We're up to an hour and 7 minutes on the live stream, and we've got day 1079. I think this is the latest one. Sometimes I forget myself. I think this is the latest. We're on day 1079. The 15th of November. 0.6% increase and 3.29 cents. It's kind of where we're at the stage. We've got the Hex payout 6.197 after yesterday's awesome 7.2. We're at 6.19, which is not too bad. We've got the T-share price at $825. The share rate went up 4.2 up to 25,081. Remember that the Hex T-share rate just goes up and to the right. It doesn't hold back for anybody. It reflects that compound returns. So we get these big long stakes coming out that are big and long. They come out, then they typically move the share rate there. The average share length there is 6.68 years, which is pretty cool. A very long committed community. Not only is Hex a very big community and growing all the time, but a very long committed community. And now this is the number one principle. Now this is a generic principle. This is not one of the, so Hex has specific fundamentals. These clever mechanisms like the share rate. But it has a general principle, which Richard talks about in terms of value, and that is that people buy something and hold it. It doesn't mean that they never sell it, but they buy it and hold it for a long period of time. And so Hex has that general principle. 6.68 years is the average stake length, which is pretty neat. Now, obviously, that's composed of different players and different volumes and things like that, but that is the kind of the cool number there. The annual percentage yield rate there, yield and emergency end-state penalties, is 37.58%. That is the payment in terms of Hex. And obviously not the US dollar amount, which can move around. Liquidity in the pool, $327 million. Sorry, 327 million X, I should say. $327 million. That'd be pretty juicy. That'd probably get us up to a couple of dollars, I'm sure, on the old price. We got liquidity pool there, 10.7 million, similar to yesterday, and 1,600 ETH there as well. So pretty similar liquidity from yesterday. We've got the T shares here up down 463. To 10,415,000. Now, even with growth, I'm expecting this to go down over time. So we have a reward pool, with inflation and penalties in it. This is what you get when you buy Hex and then stake it. When you buy Hex and stake it, your Hex gets destroyed off the market, disappears, and in turn you get shares. And we have an ownership pool with shares in it. It's called T shares, stands for trillions of shares. It's a large number of shares because there's so many players in the dynamics of compound interest. We have a large number of shares. And so your reward pool gets distributed to the ownership of T-shares. And of course, if the reward pool of the T-shares changes slightly, then the Hex payout per T-share changes. So that's kind of how that plays out. And of course, we've had a couple of days of reduction in T-shares. We're down to 10.4 million. So you think about it in the future, we do projections about value of Hex in the future. Think about Poly, Maximus, and things like that. But of course, that doesn't take into account the ratio change in the Hex payout per T-share as T-shares dissipate. We have a lot of people with emergency in-stake and things like that. So those returns are likely to be, in terms of Hex and things like that, are likely to be way better. So it's going to be fun to see that play out over time. All right, so let's move forward here. We've got stake percentage of coins. 9.73% of all hexes staked at the moment. We had penalties of just $750,000 there after yesterday's 22 million hex yesterday. Crazy. Now, I understand that yesterday the person ended up pushing that into asset tokens or something to go mine Pulse Bitcoin. I think that's what happened. You can confirm in the chat there, I'm pretty sure. That's what was happening there. We've got the current holders up 90 to 313,000. Stakers up to 104. Woohoo! That's what we like, folks. That's what Hex is all about. Grab those T-shares. And, of course, the current stake is 112,830. We've probably got a lot of small players coming in staking, which is very nice to see, as well as Hex HSI stakes and things like that with the mechanism stuff playing out there. So it's pretty cool. We're up to 287 in the total holders to 509,602. Very cool results for day 1,079. We just hit 1,080. That's the current day. We're 40 minutes into it. And, of course, we're 15 days away from the Hex's third birthday, the 2nd December 2022, day 1095. We're getting closer and closer, almost 2 weeks away. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks, I guess. Very, very cool. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. That is the Hex Daily Stats. Let's look at our Discord. Yeah, we're still at 999. We'll see how we get on there. We'll probably hit 1,000 today. Maybe it is you. So let's see what happens there. The link is in the video description to join up. All right, so cool. Let's get into it. We're going to do a little wrap up here. We've got the BTC at 16,805. We've got ETH at 1250. So that's pretty cool. Will the hammer hit this week? We will see. Take extra caution, I would say. We've got Hex at the moment at just under 3.3 cents in accumulation zone. And, of course, Hedron there just under 3,000. Also, going to be interesting to see where that pops with some of this burn. We need a lot more burn, but the cycles there, the cycle system there for Hex HSI or buybacks is may end up doing that over every 90 days. We're going to have this big burn. It's going to be interesting to see that and the following weeks. So it's going to be fun. All right, cool. Let's jump back over to the Hex chat. We're going to leave it there for the time being. I'm going to take over all the overlays and get into the chat there and see what's been going on. It's probably the longest time I've never gotten to the chat because I normally have in the chat all the time. Well, regularly. So let's catch up on what's been going on. Let's get into it. Where I was up to, I think I played this video. I think I've got a few videos to play. So we're going to play those. Bam. And bam. Have I played that one yet? Not sure what that one was. Yeah, I played that one. So cool. Yeah, I've got my finale videos, so we're going to play those later. Let's get into the chat and see what people have been saying. I'm probably miles behind, though. I apologize for that. It's not normally so long. Where did I get up to? That's where I'm trying to find out. Where did I get up to? I think I got up to here. I saw Brazolzi say like. Let's jump into some of this. Andrew says, for your information, the Republicans flipped the House 18 minutes ago, according to some random person on Twitter. Verify, yeah. I think you're right about that. I think they were pretty much on the money in there, so I think that's pretty much in the bank there. Sandy Beach says, I checked my Ikosa yield. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, the yields have been absolutely amazing. Ikosa yield accumulation is what, banana skins? Is that what you mean, Crypto Artie? Banana skins? Let's see what else. We were talking about Ikosa crypto then, obviously. J-Man says, I would love to pick up some Hex under 3 cents, says J-Man. Yeah, I heard Trey Vaughn saying that, saying he hadn't picked up Hex under 3 cents. So you're not the only one alone there, J-Man. I picked up some more Hex yesterday, says Brennan. Nice move. We are in the accumulation zone. Let's pull back that overlay. We are in the accumulation zone, so no surprise there. Christian says, if I have liquid Ikosa, would it be best to add to the Ikosa stake or wait till the Ikosa reaches maturity, claim it and restake it? Probably get into our Discord. You can talk to Wookie about that. Michael Racine in house here. Hey, Superman, good to see you. Brian says that's a possible joke. It's never wrong. You gotta remember, I'm not dealing with the man. I'm dealing with the issue. That's what I just clarify that. I've got some nice yield yesterday on Ikosa. Nice one, Christian. Yeah, a lot of people have been very happy with that. Sarah says there are 3 guys arguing on Twitter yesterday. It was disgusting, and all 3 were Hexkins. 2 of them were bashing RH. Now, were they bashing the man or were they bashing the issue? Let me know there, Sarah. I guess for some, maybe it's a certainty, says Lies Beneath. Clippy says less than 6 hours until SLS launch, really? What else will be heading to the moon? Yeah, I think there's a few little projects. I know we've got a little rocket down here in good old New Zealand that is sent something to the moon the other month. What a legend, says Shano. I'm talking about Richard Hart, I guess, on that video. I think you were talking about them. RH is the GOAT, says KD. Mid-December, says Christian Collin. I guess we're talking about Pulsechain testnet. Is that we're referring to? Or Pulsechain itself? Let me jump through some of this. XCat says was wondering what was Joker was referring to. Just remember Family Channel, but I get your points. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's always good to have a reference video, right? To respond if someone's saying an absolute. Yeah, I was very clear when I was covering Richard's comment about the bottom of the bear as what he was saying. He said could be. I was very careful about the language he was using, and of course the contingencies about the Fed pivot, which we've been covering obviously in full on this channel. So cool. Christian says people are getting laid off at work. Yes, that's happening more and more, and that's kind of a delayed effect from interest rates, and not just interest rates, but fundamental things happening in industries. There's a lot more complexity, obviously, there. Hextruck has become his namesake. I can't stand listening to him, says PSI. What else there? Legal Blitz says, what do you think the worst case scenario for Hex is? 2 cents to 5.5 cents? Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good range there, Legal Blitz. That would, at the moment, Hex has been pretty resistant to going to the downside in this accumulation phase. I would think that it might only do that if Bitcoin, we get that big dramatic fall in Bitcoin, where it just drops from 16,500 down to 11K in Prey in particular. 14K, I don't know if 14K would do it. It's only $2.5 grand or something. But if it did down to like a 5,000 day, 2 days where it's going down like 6,000, that might take Hex down below the 2.2. Even this wick here from the whale. Remember the whale wick here? We got down to 229. That would potentially do that. It's once again, I think the only one that's going to do that now is big accounts. If another whale like this came along and did that, I think that's it's a fair thing, right? I think I can't remember what this whale did with their funds, but it is typically how that might happen. I'm not sure if the retail book is going to risk off themselves, because remember there's Hart's law, which is really related to liquidity being linked into ETH and Bitcoin in particular. But there's a bigger law out there, which is risk on and risk off. Basically, fear hits the street, right? And people go, I'm going to put everything into US dollars, and so that's Hex is still subject to that. So there's no issue there. So it's still subject to the off law, even though 90% of it's liquidity is in USDC. So that's the way it goes. What else we got there? Pink is my favorite color, says Sandy Beach. Nice. Pink is pretty nice there. Christian Cole says, speed. I'm not sure what you're saying there, to be honest. COG says, I could never listen to Joker. I couldn't handle all that screaming, too much noise. I'm here for information. That's what I love listening to. Hey, nice, Sarah. Appreciate that. Yeah, hey, look, each channel's got some offering for somebody, and this is the way it goes. On this channel, we like to be a no drama channel. We don't focus on people. We focus on the content, the issue in particular, and of course, we try to do that to our best ability. And of course, family channel. So yeah, each channel has their own thing, right? RH is I'm not sure what that is, Christian. I'm not sure because let's say $25 income. He says, Brennan. Yeah. If you haven't checked out my video on the Hex price prediction from your friend Somi, who's on Twitter, check that out. Definitely check that out. David says, create drama by not being exact with their quote recollections. Yeah, I think if you're going to challenge something, you need to have the video. Like you should have the video so people can actually see that you're saying that something is absolute or conditional or whatever. I think that's very important, right? I think that's important there. Do you think there will be a post-coin launch on PLS or PLSX? Now, we don't know what reference video he was using, so I'm using the last one that I recall him talking about the big bear bottom, which was Exos about 5 weeks ago. I know he makes comments on other channels. I think that, I think his comments on the Twitter space were a bit confusing yesterday about the flipping. But apart from that, that's just the issue, not the nothing else there. What else? Let's jump through there. Wen movie, Q1 2023. They're thinking about the highest stakes potentially, subject to change. I'm feeling these news emojis, says Christian. Nice. Now let's have a look here. Let's jump through some of this. Pulsechain is going to the moon, says J-Man. I think so too. RH for the win. I agree with that one. Katie's talking about, sorry, Superman, we're talking about emojis. Yeah, that's all right. Discord needs one more to join to hit 1,000. Who wants to be that number? I'm not sure if we've hit that yet. Yeah, I think that was a bit of a troll one, that last one. Yeah, troll. Nice to see that removed. Thanks, moderators. Great stuff there. We've got cool moderators, man. James Bond, KD, Sandy Beach, Woogie, Fat Sammy, Brian, community leaders there. Really cool. And they make, they're so cool in the community. It's so great. All right, so cool. We're going to get into some of the other comments. Hexicans are taking over, I think, slowly and surely. Now, we're expecting this, right? We're playing the long game. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, one of the benefits, you think about if we're staked for so long, one of the benefits is that the community is around for so long, right? Whereas a lot of the other communities, they're in and out all over the place, right? They're trading in and out of everything. So it's just not the same culture, is it? It's not the same. I say we bring the green and yellow teams to speed things up, says Tales. Yeah. Team A and B. Yeah. Hey, Richard said development's going fine. We've heard him several times now. We had the tweet. We had that video I played earlier. So that's good to see. I'm very relieved, to be honest, that ETH Proof of Stake is the fork, because I do think there were some issues with the BSC one that they're having. So I'm very glad about the ETH Proof of Stake. That was a great relief for me. The X and the goat is the goat, says DB. Absolutely. What happened to Richard Hart's picture next to my name? I was enjoying that. Lol, says J-Man. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe you must have won one of those free member giveaways. Maybe that's what happened there, J-Man. We have to wait for another giveaway, I think, from whoever's giving away those. Fat Sammy or somebody. KD or somebody. Brian or somebody. Dear Sir, Wen Pulsechain, rocket launched to moon soon. Hey, we covered that earlier, TV. You must have missed that. You must have missed that one. Katie says, I think we hit 1,000 members, but number didn't move up. No, I don't think we've hit there yet, Dave. No, we're not there yet. We need one more member. We had that fake member come in, but no, we're still at 999. We're not there yet. Hey, we're patient. We're patient. We're waiting for that special 1,000 person to come in. Not special because they're any more special than someone else, but special because it'll be number 1,000. They'll have that unique spot. That was a very benevolent of the SA. Yeah. Hey, look, that was awesome, man, from the SA. Benefiting with the Poly mints. That was fantastic. And Poly people are very happy now. I think it would have been cool for them to have the Hex HSIs, and obviously that impacts the bidding and the burning, and also impacts the staking. Now they're staking, well, at least in 29 days when they're staked. So it's going to be what, 2 percentage points or something like that of the staking amount. Might be something really high. I should actually look at that and see what the impact will be. My Hedron stake feels like it's pumping out some cash now, says Prince. Nice. Hey, great stuff. Good to see. Hey, look, we're in the bear market too. So imagine a bull market with a price upgrade. That'd be pretty cool. What's up, Hex family? Getting closer to the bottom, getting closer to Pulsechain. Woo, says Check My Pulse. I like your attitude. I do agree with your sentiment there. It will be cool if we can stake Poly and get X and Ikosa yields. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe hit them up with the Poly. Now, I did feel that's where they're going to head with staking the ownership tokens. That's seems like where they're going to go. They've got quite a few options they're going to do. I'd like also see them do something outside of the ecosystem as well. So I'm looking forward to that. I think they could do some DeFi dApps. I'd be looking for that. So if Dipcatcher's listening, I don't know if he is, but if you're listening, Dipcatcher, I'd like to see something like that too, as well as the continued optimization that he's been doing with the staking pools and things, ownership staking and that. Dipcatcher should have Poly stake function and give Ikosa or Hex. The staker choose which one they want as yield. That'd be pretty cool. Some optionality would be cool. Yeah, could do that. Yes, I need to let him know. Let Dipcatcher know. He'll love the feedback. Yes, I need to stake more Hedron. Yep. Fat Hex is in house here, over 1,000. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're there yet. We've got someone in. Who's in here? It's just legit crypto footsteps. Woo! Yay! So that's pretty cool. We have to give you a hex on there on the symbol. We always give a project token on here. Actually, Philly Hex hasn't got one, so we'll give Philly Hex. We'll give Poly Hex a Pulse Hex. How about that? So well done to Crypto Footsteps. Welcome, you're number 1,000. And I think we did it. Hello, guys. Remember 1,007 here says Crypto Footsteps. Is what it says, 1,000. Oh, yeah, we've had lots. We've had to throw out spammers. So awesome. Well done on being our, I guess, our official 1,000 member. So cool. That's I guess let's do it at everybody. Everybody. everyone. Congrats on Hex Token. I can't even spell my Hex Token the Discord hit 1,000 community members. Hex Token hit 1,000 community. That's cool. All right, so cool. It's in now. Yep, and put us some party. You know me. We're gonna play a party. Bam. That's cool. That is very cool. So we did it. We did it. And congratulations and a big welcome to Crypto Footsteps. Bam. And we'll party on that. Let's go. We'll put a few more. Why not? Let's do some here. We'll put some polys. Put some of the cool projects in the house. Let's do some Hex Pulsechain. Do some Hex. Where's the Hex gone? Do Pulsex. I think that's pretty good. I think we got them all. We got the Hex. We've got the derivatives. Nice. There's a lot more derivatives, but we'll leave them like that. Pretty cool. My pleasure to help this, especially on a live stream. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, let's give it a rocket to that one. All right, so cool. Welcome. Congrats, everybody. We're going to smash some of these out. Bam, bam, bam. We're coming up to an hour and a half, so not too close, not too far away. We hit a big milestone. That's going to be good for my membership report. I like to do when on the everybody that joins as a member of Hex Token YouTube. Every so often, I try to do an update about how we're growing in the channel. Since they support, I think that's kind of a normal report, right? So I'll be doing a report today. If you're a Hex Token channel member on YouTube, if you're a Pulsechain, Hexkin, or Richard Hart member, then you will be getting a report today on the growth of the social media because you guys support the channel, and I like to let you know how it's going on. So pretty cool. We cover all the different mediums that we're on because we're on Odyssey, we're on Rumble. I said Humble. That's funny. We're on Rumble and a lot more others. So Gab, Twitter, everything else. So that's pretty cool. So congratulations, everybody. That is so cool. All right, so let's go over here and let's see who else is in the house with some of these comments. Fat Hex says, I wonder if ASIC token will do anything if I don't convert to Pulse Bitcoin. No, it won't do anything. It's just the price will move around, but it won't do anything without mining if you're not going to mine anything with it. Like I say, what else there? Pulse Bitcoin. If I started to mine on day one, can I keep the miners going for as long as I want? Every 30 days you got to collect, otherwise it has a penalty, I think, and then you got to restake it. So there is a mining fee for that, 0.5%. So just remember that there, Kristen. Cool. What else there you think it would be? But Unisux. Kristen said, I think BNBP will go up and down every time a new game is released. It will bump and then it will drop. What's going to happen when all games are released? So what's happening, Kristen, is that there is a burn. The burn is slowly eating up the total supply. So that's going to play out over time. And of course, that's going to make it more rare. The amount start for 1 million, it's going down all the time. In fact, let's go have a look at how much that is because that's a pretty cool topic. Let me have a look here. We'll pull it up. Oh, hopefully we'll pull it up. And we'll go have a look at BNB pots. Let's have a look at the contract. Oh, it's up to $13.42. So it starts off at 1 million. It is now down to 998,623. And that's it. That's it. So it's going down in total supply. There's no other magical BNBP anywhere. It is going down. So just slowly and surely, this is going to just keep going and going and going, and so forth. And then more games come out, more revenue, more reasons for people to stake. The volume, if the volume keeps ticking over like that, then it's going to be good. So obviously, a volume is not a given, and we've still got the participation to come out. But I think if the market does get tanked down a couple of times with the old BM participation sold by players, that will get bought up at a discount, and then the market will start relieving itself after that. So there are opportunities in here, and we will see if the revenue keeps going, stakers will grow, the tokens go down, puts price pressure on the BNBP over the longer term. So we'll see how that plays out as well. Also, if we get to $30 at some stage, that mechanism, that 10% premium on the game might start playing out, have more of an impact as well. We will see. All right, so cool. Some thoughts there on that one. Let's jump back to the Hex price and get rid of the overlay. What else? So we've got a couple of comments in here. Coming up to an hour and a half. We're at an hour and a half. J-Man, BNBP and all the pop projects will explode during the next bull run. I think so too, J-Man. We are in a bear market, so it's a good point to there, J-Man. More gains coming soon, absolutely. I love the fact that the Powerball game, yeah, I think that's going to be cool, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. One of the things that I liked about one of the other sacrifice projects, let me think what that's called. Let me just pull it up because I can't remember. So we're just going a bit beyond my hour and a half that I was going to plan. So let's have a look. Is win-win. So win-win has this thing where you give up 2/3 of your staking benefit, but you get the chance for a giant pool over different periods of time. There's different pools, and some of them could get very big. And I think potentially they could get millions of dollars. Potentially, it could be. I haven't done the numbers, but it could be very, very big. So yeah, that kind of idea with the Powerball is a bit like this. It's a bit like taking some of the good edge off this and front running win-win. They're kind of front running win-win a little bit there. So that's kind of cool, right? I think that's pretty neat. Cool. Hey, I like competition and I like things now than later, right? So it doesn't take anything away from win-win, but that's kind of where I feel about that. That's pretty cool. We will see. It's going to be fun to see. It's going to be. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it. Like I said, the only hurdle I see in it is two hurdles probably, and I think the second one is the design that's going to probably overcome that. The one is the participation wallet. Once we get through that, things are going to be pretty cool. We don't know how much it's going to be stay staked in there either, but I do think that a lot of big players will sell down when they can. So we will have to absorb that. That's all I'm saying. Christian Collins says the passive income from staking when the casino is fully up and running will be insane, especially on 5 chains of those sacrifices. Agree with that, J-Man. Plus, of course, that burn and everything else, as I say. It's going to be pretty neat to see. They will have its up and downs, that's for sure. J-Man says, yes, Powerball coming soon. Pop Project 100x, in my opinion. Nice, J-Man. So look at, I can imagine years later when the Powerball pays off, going to millions, possibly, because platforms that are proving themselves, they get a lot of credibility. And that could definitely play out there too. Let's jump away. Jumping through some of those comments. So I'm just jumping through some of these. Sorry, guys, just because we're so far behind. Just hit 1,000 members. Yep, so I'm almost up to date there. Congratulations, says J-Man. My pleasure to join the Discord. This is Crypto Footsteps. I appreciate that. I'm fronting Superman with the emojis, says Katie. 1,000 members, says Rango. Nice. Smash the like, people, says Rango. Sarah's talking about, I guess, Richard Hart on the Twitter space. They were bashing him about gloating about being run on FTX and how he could I've got more Twitter followers if he wasn't so harsh. Yeah, well, that's probably a true criticism. I have no problem with that. J-Man is, you either love him or you don't. J-Man said, that style. I always just look past that style, just, people, it's just the way it is. You either like things, you don't like things. I really focus on the crypto side of things, as you guys know. So that's kind of where my main focus is on. Love BNBP, says Fat Sammy. Yeah, it looks like I think it's going to be pretty cool. Quietly waiting for the people to start dumping weights NFTs, says Lemmy. Weights NFTs. I'm not sure. What's NFTs? Yeah, damn predictive text. I had it too, man. I hate it as well. It does it to me as well. I'm here. Boy, he says Love Rich. Hey, Love Rich. Good to see you dropping. All right, so cool. That's where we are. 3.3 cents for Hex. We've got Hedron at 2,900, and we've got BNBP is the chart for the moment. Last 2 days or so, it is the one that's done 80% gains, $13.42. Hey, look, pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. So yeah. What is also a bit of a lesson to learn here? I think with quality projects, you got to assess whether they're quality or not, and need to do your own investment due diligence. But this was a big sacrifice. A lot of people got this for free. Around maybe circa $1 because they're getting a copy on 5 chains at least. And Pulsechain is the next target, of course. Is that you've got a lot of people selling, your game is selling, stuff like that. There is a mechanism to keep them staked. There is 75% staked, but 100,000 is the participation wallet. So we'll watch this one too. It's gonna be fun. Maybe we should. If you haven't checked out my gamification videos, I've done 2 of those. If you want to check it out, they're the best out there, without a doubt. Now, I normally wouldn't say that, but they definitely are. You can go and check yourself versus other ones that have been made. I went through every single, pretty meticulous through this project and had a look at the gamification there. All right, so cool. Let's jump over to that. We've got BTC holding up not too bad. Is the hammer coming in? That's the question. Just take your prudent risk management is my suggestion. BNBP is rocking it, and Discord hit 1,000 members. Pretty awesome. We're going to play out some fun stuff on the way out. Hope you guys enjoy yourself. Enjoy your day. Get into Discord. That's what it's all about, community and information. So get in there, folks. That's going to be pretty cool. In fact, I just realized I don't have a woohoo emoji. I'm going to have to get a woohoo emoji on there. Nice one there, get Hex. All right, so take care, everybody. All right, enjoy yourself. Bye for now. Peace out. Subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. You know how we rock and roll. And bye for now. Take care.
$1,000 Valentino Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all Prada, 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 Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Prada, 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 Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.
This is the opportunity of a lifetime. Yes, every scammer in the world is going to tell you something similar, but in this case, you are actually going to.
Remember all the haters? All the haters that told you that I was a scammer and Hex was a scam? I got bad news for the haters. We're making new all-time highs where everything else is
4,000 or 5,000 fold in 600 days.
I've made enough money in the last week that I could buy a house in cash.
I would never have to work another day in my life.
I'm here to shill. I want to change the world, and I can only do that if people participate.
The only thing that matters in this world is goods and services. Everything else is accounting. And our made-up imaginary internet money is better than the government's made-up imaginary internet money. Both of them are only backed by the shared fiction of the humans believing that they have value.
Playing Monopoly.
I put it all in. I win.
Like all of what?
All of our house money.
This is a force that is not going to go away. The cryptocurrency is not going away. And at some point, the people that you met that you thought were crazy loon birds, they're going to be in the 1%, and they're going to be the people that own half of everything.
We're doing an interview right now.
The highest of stakes.
What is the highest of stakes?
In one word and one word only.
Magic.
The one thing that I've seen come true again and again and again and continually is that desire matters most. And I know how much desire we brought to wanting to see this thing happen.
I don't even know that I believe in magic, but I think I do after making this movie, because there's just so many things that happened that seem like they're 1 in a million.
Do you remember back, like, how all of this started?
Oh, yeah. I sure as hell remember the moment this started.
I told you about this when I was like, listen, this cryptocurrency, this guy has got a $500 million market cap cryptocurrency. Hey, Patrick, it just hit $1 billion. You got to talk to this guy.
And Quattro keeps busting up my cell phone with text messages. And I can just remember the YouTube video popping up. Mr. Hart, he's got a top hat on and a velvet backdrop. No, thank you. No, thank you. I didn't even watch it.
Richard is frankly the wildest, craziest character ever, and I know that you guys are character people.
You don't run a node. You are the bitch of the actual pool that runs a node, and they decide what the consensus rules are.
I was like yelling at the top of my, like standing in my chair, fuck this guy. Yeah, this guy is fucking, what? Who does this guy think he is?
It's been nearly a decade since a story has crossed our desk that felt so large, so compelling, so incredible that we would take it. Yeah, I mean, figuratively, metaphorically.
There are very few people that are as strong of a character. We didn't know what to make of them. We didn't know what exactly the story was, but we knew we had an insane character, and we know as storytellers, that's your ceiling. Like, the stronger your character, the stronger your story can be. So there was something there for sure, even though we didn't know quite what it was.